But God, for the purposes either for God's entertainment or God's education, particularly manifested this creation and then manifested in the dynamic of time and space. So when it plays in space, that allows us to play the game of separation. That you're different from me, I'm different from you, and that we're different from these walls, we're different from the cars and the rocks and the trees and the grass and the sky. And that we formulate then our sense of separate existence, which we call the ego and the I. And then we try to make the outer world be a reinforcement of the truth of ourselves as this separate existence. In a sense, our life as the ego is built upon a lifelong attempt to prove our realness, to prove that we really are real, that we really exist, and that our story is really true. The story we've concocted about us and our journey and our birth and what we're accomplishing and what we're going to do and what we're destined for. There's a paradoxical truth about spirit and about everything that we're in, is that there is this realization in the high spirit that everything already is, which means everything that will ever be done, ever can be done, in a sense is already knowable in the spirit. There was a thing I witnessed this weekend where there was somebody talking about that everything is predestined based on their experience that they had met somebody who was able to basically ask them 3 questions, give me a number, give me a color, give me your birth date. And even when they tried to trick the person got it right. And the person described, at least to this person, described their thought process and how they did that. Into our request for it, because we are also of the spirit, things can be changed and differ. That's why you can have somebody like Edgar Cayce, who was phenomenally clairvoyant and could predict things about the future and stuff and was very accurate, that even as accurate as he was, a lot of his predictions haven't happened. Why? Because as much as all he could do was say, based on the cards, as they are at that moment he was looking at them, this is what's going to transpire. However, from on high, there's been spiritual energy coming through, there's been master forms coming in here, there's angelic forms coming in and work, and all these things are also shifting the cards. The funny thing is, when they shift it, it's not like they have to go in and erase it and rewrite it like that, because literally as it's changed in the spirit, the card changes because it's changed on high, which translates to be below. It's almost like, so you could think, okay, I'm going to lay out these cards and I already know what's going to happen because I've seen it, but in the moment when I'm about to do it, if from the spirit world there's a revision made, the revision is instant, and all of a sudden you lay out the card and go, wait a minute, this is not what I thought. That one of the traps we get into in our life is that we conclude that something will be so because it was so before. And yet, as a practical application of our humanity, we're almost required to do that to create predictability in our lives, which we rely upon so that we can be unconscious as much as we're comfortable being. Because if it was always unpredictable, we'd always have to be in a heightened state of awareness all the time. Like if we lived in the jungle and we had to be wary all the time for a predator. The way the nature kingdom is where animals are, where they're always on alert. When they're not on alert, they get eaten. So we do something different. We create patterns of predictability, which I frankly enjoy because it's easier to not have to think every time. I don't have to remember how to tie my shoes. I don't have to recreate it. And yet we lose something in that. And what we lose is we lose the originality of the moment. We lose that connection to the ever-presentness of spirit that is in every moment, giving us the possibility of revision.